for showing up. Very impressed that you're for the training. Not because it's going to benefit you, but that's past the step in your success. Because that's the first step to success, showing up. If you are assertive, you show up. So I'm going to share some screen, my screen as we go on. So let's see this screen mode. So I run a company called Career Management Center. And this is part of our pro bono work, and I'm happy to be gifting you this tonight. So I want us to understand, when you say you're proactive, what exactly does it mean to be proactive? You can write for me your answers in the chat. What exactly do you understand by saying, she's very assertive, she's not assertive, I want to be assertive? What exactly does it mean? If those answers can come in the chat as we go on, that would be very nice. But I just want to, in the interest of time, to just proceed and say, assertive is a type of communication. And tonight I would like us to discuss the 4 styles of communication. We have passive communicators, we have aggressive communicators, we have passive aggressive communicators, and we have assertive communicators. These 3 are not the best. They're actually very bad for anybody, either as a giver or a receiver. All of us are aiming to be assertive communicators. But getting here is work, a lot of deliberate work that you have to put in for you to be an assertive communicator. So tonight, I would like us to know as you go on, please mark where you are. Are you passive? Are you passive aggressive, or are you aggressive? Or are you assertive? Or are you a mix of all this? So as we proceed, please stick where you are. The first question is this you, a passive communicator? Many people in today's society fear conflict and criticism. They believe that in any conflict they would lose, and that any criticism would crush them. They feel that they have no right to express their, or for that matter, themselves or the world. They have been trained from childhood to believe that their role is to accept and live up to the standards that other people impose on them. Being feasible, being flawed, holding opinions, or having visions of their own will leave them, can have them attacked by other people. So these people, we're going to have some more here on the same. They avoid giving their opinion. You avoid giving your opinion on issues, whether they are minor, like did you like the movie, or they are major, do you think we should end this relationship? Their opinions first, because you don't want to talk and people say she doesn't think, or I don't like her idea, or for them to ask you for more information. You would rather keep quiet and die with your idea. Perhaps they're willing to give you, perhaps you're willing to give your own opinion, but only if you happen to agree with the other people. Or perhaps you pretend to agree or actually change your own views to suit the other person. If this is you, tick a box. We're going to talk about how to move from this, because this is a very dangerous place to be. This makes you a bitter person. It makes you someone who is not it makes you say yes when you mean no. It makes you say I'm okay when you're not okay. We ask you to stay late at work. You know very well that your baby, you have no house girl tonight. There's nobody to stay with your baby, but you're okay just saying it's okay. So in passive communication, even in a meeting, you don't talk. We go for those meetings, people will be giving ideas, but you're fearing. You're okay with whatever they're going to discuss. On the background. With whatever that people pass, even though you're not okay. People think you're okay, but you're actually not okay. You're the last person to talk. You always go like, everything has been said and I kind of agree with everyone. At any one time, you let people say things that you had thought about 5 minutes ago, but you didn't have the courage to voice that opinion out. You do things that given a choice you wouldn't do, because you just can't stand up and say, what? Speak up, I don't agree with this. Do you know such people? Then we have a second type of group, which is aggressive communicators. Again, I'm asking, is this you? And I have this animal here to just show how aggressive that we can get actually in the organization. C-level is a little more than a competition. At any one time, you think you're competing. And if you're not visible, if they are not going to become invisible, then it means nobody else is going to be seen in that organization. Whatever they want is what is going to be done. You are perfectly willing to give your opinion, but you speak as though to hold any other opinion is stupid. You ask people in meetings, how could you even think about that? If you have a manager who will be asking you such things, tomorrow morning you can't even open your mouth in a meeting. And of course, we are those managers. So when you're aggressive, you speak in a way that is actually very satirical, and you can actually attack other people. You harshly criticize or make fun of other points of view, whether or not others have reviewed how they feel on the issue. Especially now we are going to a period of elections. So it doesn't matter that who I'm supporting or what I'm doing, or even whatever decision. As long as you're not of my opinion, you'll perfectly give your opinion. This is my first thing. You are perfectly willing to give your opinion. But as you speak as though you think other people are actually silly. At any one time, you're making people feel less and less important as long as you're in the room. If someone does disagree with you, you attempt to change their opinion through intimidation, sarcasm, or even heated arguments. I know we have seen such people. Examples are too many, like the one that I just gave. And then we have someone that is passive aggressive. And I'm saying, is this you? And in passive aggressive, this person, they are passive. They are passive because they want to really say no to you, but they can't say. So this person given a report to do, then he does it in such a way that you'll never give him a report again. You'll be thinking he can't do a report. You give him a document, it comes back full of errors, intentionally, because he's trying to make you not give him more work again. You ask me to take you out for maybe for a wedding or something, I say yes, but in my heart, I don't mean to tell you yes. The day of the wedding, I don't even call you. You call me and I'm teja, like from asubuhi mpaka around 3 when I can't come for the wedding. Oh my God, I forgot the phone. So I'm actually hurting you indirectly because I can't say no. I tend to do no other things that are just ukukando for me to say no to you because I'm not able to just face you and say no. But unlike the other person who is just passive and they end up doing what they do not want, in passive aggressive, this person actually tells you yes, but then does the complete opposite. You only get to know that you're not in the same bus when they don't do what you had agreed. Some sort of sabotage. They will even gossip you when you're not in the room. When you're in the room, they smile with you. They make you look like you're friends, but in the real sense, they are so fed up with you, but they don't have the courage to tell you, know what, I don't like it when you do this and this and this, or my opinion in this is ABCD. So they'll keep saying, let's just do it because he said it when he's the boss. And therefore they'll go the whole journey complaining and complaining and complaining. There are the people in the house or even in the office, when you tell them to do something, you can hear them murmuring. Then you ask him, what are you saying? No, nothing, I'm okay. And I know you know such people, either in the office or at home, because these things are not just applicable in the office, but even in our relationships at home or wherever else. When people are passive aggressive, you avoid disagreeing with others directly, but express strongly opinionated views when you secretly know that others present may be hurt by them. If challenged, you then, e.g., Jenny Mutisya is the most corrupt politician we have ever had. No, I didn't know you are his campaign manager. So I am there. My campaign manager is in a room, but because you knew he's there, you say this, and when I ask you, what did you say? You say, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you're the campaign manager. I actually didn't mean that. So we never mean what you say. You frequently express views about others who are not present in the room, because when they're in the room, you either can't voice out what you want to say, or when you voice, you'll be saying the complete room. E.g., I think Akinyi is completely out to lunch on this one, don't you? But when she's there, you don't even talk about it. You sing praises. You are the people can't tell what you are. What they see is not what they get. So people will be thinking you are friends, when in the real sense, you're actually backstabbing them. You're sabotaging them. So you use sarcasm frequently, but rarely directly, and you deny the negative intent. No, I didn't mean anything. What do you mean? Like when you tell someone maybe you give them maybe a congratulation, then you take it. I like the way today you presented, because otherwise it's nakalianga sana. So it's like you're praising me and taking it away. You have the intention to hurt, but you don't have the energy to actually hurt this particular person. So the first one was passive, and passive, we are saying this person doesn't actually voice up their opinions. They just keep quiet. They don't express. They're hurting inside, and nobody knows they're hurting until the day they quit a job, or they walk out of a marriage, or they just burst. And you wonder, she looked okay. She was ABCD, but you never got to know that they were never satisfied with that particular communication. Then we have the aggressive, and we are saying aggressive people are actually just aggressive. They'll hurt you. They will say what they want to say in a way that makes them look like it's just their way or the highway. If you don't agree with them, you're on the wrong. If you don't agree with them, you're the enemy. And then we have the passive aggressive, which is a combination of those two. This person has 50-50 of each. He wants to speak, but he can't. He wants to hurt, but he can't hurt this particular person. And this is the most, they are both bad, but this is the most dangerous. Then we have what we are discussing today, which is assertive communication, where is I would want all of us to get into. And if you are an assertive communicator, you're willing to express your opinion, whether or not others have done so. If you're discussing something and you say, what do you think about this? In a room, you'll see people, everybody is quiet, they're waiting for so-and-so to speak. Who is this so-and-so that you're waiting to speak? Every time you do that, just know that you're being passive, because why are you watching Helen to talk before you can talk as Mary? If you have an idea and if you prepared for this particular meeting, what is the fear of you of speaking and saying, my opinion in this is this and this and this and this, because of the following. So you are willing to express your opinion, whether or not others have done so. You take on view is, rather than presenting it as the only view. If someone disagrees, you're willing to discuss the issue, but they don't necessarily feel that your mission is to change your mind. So you are, as an assertive communicator, you agree that you do not own, like you're not the monopoly of knowledge. You agree that at some point you could be wrong. You agree that you could be missing some information that you can be given that will make you agree and see things the other way. So if you're an assertive communicator, it means you give your opinions in a way that you also open up. You go like, my opinion is ABCD, but you can hear from the others. An aggressive person will be like, anybody who has a well-working brain knows that the only way out is ABCD. That's an aggressive person, because he's saying the rest of you don't have a brain that is functioning. And then if someone disagrees with you, you're willing to just listen and go like, yeah, it's okay, you tell me and I'm listening, tell me. Then we can discuss, not in a way to just fight, but in a way to understand where they're coming from. So when you're an assertive communicator, you actually want to understand where other people are coming, and you understand that you could actually also be wrong. You just need to be open enough to understand what people are saying. So are you willing to change your mind if others provide you information that you hadn't considered? Or are you willing to just intimidate everybody for them to agree to what you're saying? And I'm saying in communication and becoming assertive, what you go for is what you call by passive. This is a communication cycle. And in passive, you don't care about yourself, you care about the other person. I hope you can see. So it starts from me, passive. You don't care about yourself, you care about the other person more. Then we come to passive aggressive, where you don't care about myself, I don't care about you. So I'm not speaking for myself and I'm not even helping you. So both of us are losing. This is I lose, you win. And this one here is I lose, you lose. So I've inconvenienced myself because I'm not talking to you. I'm hurting and complaining to everybody. At the same time, I'm not supporting you, I'm sabotaging you. So it's a very dangerous place to be. Same thing we have. Then we have aggressive. I care about myself, I don't care about you. Especially as you go up. I think Wandia spoke about breaking ceilings. As you go up with this kind of character, passive aggressive, passive and aggressive, it's almost impossible, because as you go up, it's about you and other people. It's about you working through people. It's about people agreeing to what you're saying. It's about people implementing the thing that you're saying. So as long as you're in this tree, then it becomes very difficult for you to actually even ascend. And when you ascend, you become the managers that everybody hates. You come to passive, all of us will be saying, we don't know what she's thinking. We are waiting for him to call a meeting. You get to address things when they are, when they are gone off. If you're aggressive, you call us for a meeting, we can't keep quiet, because anything I say might be used against me. And when you say something, you're not expecting me to oppose it. And it's not about opposing, it's about knowing how to speak assertively. And the same with this. So very, very important that we move to a place whereby I am okay, you are okay. I'm going to communicate to you. I am okay, you're okay. That is very, very, very important. So what should we express? Humans are not meant to be invisible, nor to live as reflections of the lives of others. It's not an option. It leads to greater fear, more helplessness, sharper resentment, and deeper depression. So at any one time that you feel you're in a meeting in a boardroom and the whole meeting you have not said anything, ask yourself why you didn't say something. Is it because you have nothing to say? You didn't prepare for the meeting? You have no content? Is it fear? Or why exactly are you not able to say, my opinion in this particular issue is ABCD? And the day you learn how to express yourself, then you'll have express yourself respectively. Then you'll have become assertive. So very, very, very important that you actually become visible. Make your own visibility visible. It's part of the branding. So how do you become more assertive? So I hope that gives us a background of what just being assertive means. And let me see just how to become more assertive. And maybe before I go to this, I should just like to share one more thing to be sure that we actually understand what this is all about. Stop share, and then I'll come to that one. Just to be sure that we all have the proper understanding of what it means to be assertive, to be, what is it called? To be assertive, to be all that we are looking to be today. So let me share my screen again. And I know we have no time. I feel like it's a session that should take more than an hour, but it's okay. So if you look at this, the passive communication again, it's a style in which individuals have developed a pattern of avoiding expressing their opinions or feelings, protecting their rights, and identifying and meeting their needs. As a result, passive individuals do not respond to unakanyangwa kidole, unanyamaza. Unavuta mguu, keep quiet. Instead, they allow grievances and annoyances to mount, usually unaware of the build-up. But once they have reached their high tolerance threshold for an acceptable behavior, they are prone to explosive outbursts. I'm sure we have experienced. After the outbursts, however, they feel shame, guilt, confusion, so they turn to being passive. They will even apologize. You are the one who has been hurt, but now you're apologizing again. They will only fail to assert themselves. They allow others deliberately or indefinitely infringe on their rights. They fail to express their feelings, needs, or opinions. They tend to speak softly or apologetically. They exhibit poor eye contact and slammed body posture. Let me just talk about apologetically. And we have seen this a lot, and especially with ladies. Every time you have done you want to say an opinion, instead of just saying what you have to say, you start by saying, I might be wrong, and I start to be corrected, but I think, so you start by apologizing and nobody has said it's wrong. You are starting from a point of being inferior. So every time you apologize for your opinions, you're actually giving your confidence away. You're coming from a point that is so low. So don't apologize. They have very poor eye contact. I know we have had this very many times, and even how you sit, how you walk, and how you do all those things, especially the body posture and the eye contact. If you go for a meeting, speak. If you have to go for public speaking classes, talk to me. I'll help you join Toastmasters, so that, because as you go up, it's about speaking. It's about going for meetings, about joining the board and giving those presentations and being able to say what you mean in a way that people actually listen and respect you for what you're saying. But if you can't look at me, if you cannot have a conversation looking at me, if you cannot have a body posture that says you're confident in terms of professionalism for you to grow to the next level. And we're saying they feel anxious about life. They feel out of control. They see the boost they want to run because at a power kazingine and they can't say I'm already swamped. This person is not able to just express and say, I have too much on my desk. Can I give you this tomorrow morning? Why is this not delivered? Why is this not done? But they'll never be able to say, can I just communicate how realistic that when they can deliver that? Because to them, it's about just taking yes and yes. And we're not saying, don't say I can't take more. When you are assertive, you know how to say that no in a way that's actually very good to your boss. Like, I'm working on this, it's due, I'm working on this, it's due, and I'm working on ABCD. Can I deliver this on Wednesday morning by 10 a.m.? Even if they have a plan or something and you ask them to stay late, last minute at 6 when they're about to leave, and they have someone waiting for them downstairs or something that happened, they'll go sit pretending that it is okay. Well, they'll first go back, pass by the toilet, cry, then come sit with a smile and work. At the end of the day, it makes you feel very, very, very. They even come to HR, these ones. They complain and ask you not to do anything about it. They come, they tell you, yeah, my boss, she's the worst boss. Then you ask, can I take action? Can I talk to him? No, please don't. I was just telling you. Why were you telling me if you don't want me to take action? Can you then stand up to him? I can. Do you know how hard she is? So please don't be in that perspective. Don't be a passive person. And when we're hard at work, we take this heartache at home. And even at home, when you take this heart, at some point, you just have an outburst. It is not, you're not meant to be invisible. You're meant to be visible. So, so a passive communicator will say, stand up for their rights. They don't know what their rights are. I get stepped on by everybody, you know. I am weak and unable to take care of myself. People never consider my feelings. Where in the real sense, it is you who is not speaking up for yourself. And of course, you don't have an ambassador. You're your own first ambassador. So if you don't represent yourself, don't expect anybody else to speak for you. So if you're here, let's start stepping out. And I would like a volunteer to read for me the aggressive communication behavior. Can someone read for me the number one, the second one, which is aggressive communication? A volunteer.
Aggressive communication is a style in which individuals express
Tell
their
us your
feelings.
name. Tell us your name. Tell us your name, and thank you for showing up. Thank you for being active. Who is reading? Who was reading? Please tell us your name and proceed.
Regina Dirango.
Okay, Regina, please proceed.
Number two, aggressive communication is a style in which individuals express their feelings and opinions and advocate for their needs in a way that violates the rights of others. Thus, aggressive communicators are verbally or physically abusive. Aggressive communicators will often try to dominate others, use humiliation to control others, criticize, blame, or attack others, be very impulsive, have low frustration tolerance, speak in a low, demanding, and overbearing voice, act threateningly and rudely, not listen well, interrupt frequently, use you statements.
You meaning like you did not do this. Someone who is assertive, they'll come and say, I realize that you have not yet given me this particular report. You know, they want to understand from me without having to judge you. But this person will come and tell you, never deliver. They even speak and bang their hand like, you know, like it's a sharper that's about to cut you. When they're speaking, even their body language, not just the tone, even their body language looks like they can be violent. Either their eyes or they are too tight. You can actually, muscles are clenching. And I know we have seen this kind of person. This person is the complete opposite of the passive one. The passive looks like you can just abuse them and all that, you know. And this one is very aggressive. You have to see them. They don't have to be senior. It can be the senior person or a junior person. But before you just go to see them, you have to think otherwise. You have to really think, like, I'm going to see so and so, you know. People are saying prayers to come and see you. Then it means when it comes to, they'll always talk about your temper. They'll talk about how you can relate with the people. They'll talk about not very nice things about you, because the some of these things, and why this is important is because there's a famous quote, I think by Maya Angelou or someone, that says, people remember what you made them feel. You could have even negotiated for my promotion, but as long as you made me feel like nothing was stupid, you made me feel like I wasn't a human being, I will never forget that feeling. Most people never forget that feeling, and especially the wrong things. So then one time you try to dominate other people, they speak you, you know, you do ABCD, whatever that they're doing, you're just out there criticizing, attaching, and blaming others, including asking people, do you even have a brain? Do you think? You know, things like that. So these people, the worst communication style, and I know most of the time we are like this at home, especially the people that have no impact on us, especially house girls, now that we're speaking to women, and even people that we feel like have no impact on us. But that's where now your communication style is under test. If you can't respect people who cannot give you any favors, then that is your default setting. And we are not saying this to put you in a box. It is for you to realize and move to the next level that we are all calling the assertive level. So thank you very much, Dirango. You know, they feel like they are loud, bossy, and pushy. They violate your rights. I'll get my way no matter what, you know, even if it just, you know, then we have the passive aggressive. Can I get a volunteer to read for me passive aggressive communication style? A volunteer, please.
I will do this. My name is Caroline. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Caroline. Thank you.
Welcome. Passive aggressive communication is a style which individuals appear surface, but are really acting out of anger in a subtle, indirect, or behind the scenes way. People who develop a pattern of passive aggressive communication usually feel powerless, stuck and resentful. In other words, they feel incapable of dealing directly with the object of their resentment. Instead, they express their anger by subtly undermining the object, real or imagined, of their resentments. Thank you.
Thank you. And we are saying passive matter or to themselves rather than confront the other person, like I said earlier. So you send this particular person, and I'll use the example of my mother when I was growing up, and I would feel like she's oversending me. Jen, bring me this. Jen, bring me this. Jen, bring me this. And I'm wondering, can you just send me once? But I can't tell her that because so what do? I'll go find to get whatever that she's getting, but my working style is a bit slow, and I might be remembering some things. Then she'll be like, what was that? And I'll be like, no, I was singing, even though I was not singing, because I don't know how to confront her. And sometimes when we are aggressive managers, we turn people to this without knowing. Because again, people that you're managing can only take too much. So remember, as you go up, how we communicate, communication becomes the medicine, becomes the oil, the engine for how we relate, how we work, for the teamwork. Everything is about how we communicate. Either you're misunderstanding me, or you're understanding me, or we're working together well because you said this, because you explained this, or because I can come and express openly to you. So communication becomes extremely important, because you could turn a team that was actually very assertive to passive aggressive. When you hear sometimes companies collapse, and the best example is actually football. When you hear that a team that was doing very well is now at the end of the whatever, they are not going to the next league, to the next game. Why? Because they are the best, but because they are assisting this particular manager, they're not even scoring. And even in the office, we can see that there are times that if people just gang against you as the manager, my friend, they'll bring you down, because the reports will be late, ABC will not be done on time, they'll start stealing from the organization. By the time you know, people will be saying the management is not working. When they're leaving, they'll also be giving feedback about you because of how they feel very suffocated. They are resentful. And because they want to sabotage you, this particular group, like I'm saying, the most dangerous. And please, if you ever find yourself here, find help, because it's a very dangerous place to be, because it could mess up with your career as much as you're messing up with other people. So they refuse there's a problem. You ask them, what did you say? I was singing, but this person was murmuring. Are you going to stay late? Yes, I can stay and do the report. When you go to check, they have left. You call them, where are you? I thought we said we'll do tomorrow. They pretend they did not understand your instructions. And I know we have seen such people, because I've heard such in terms of disciplinary. You tell someone and you have to communicate to them and write, because if you don't write, and even you can write and they don't respond to your email, so that when you're following up, they'll be like, I did not see that email. Maybe it went to my spam, and they actually saw it. But they are resisting in a way that you can't tell they are resisting. And it's resisting, but sometimes people do that because they are resisting. And we are saying they use subtle sabotage to get even. This is it. Subtle sabotage. So you wonder, this person is my friend. Why do you pretend to be my friend? But it's because this person is fighting you, but they can't actually fight you openly. So I don't even know which one is better between the one who is aggressive, who's just telling you as it is, and this guy. So they discharge resentment where already issues are never addressed, so that they can't mature. So a very bad person, because like I said, they are not okay, you are not okay. The aggressive person, it is their way. They want to be okay at your expense. And now we can move to, you see what they say. I am weak and resentful, so I sabotage, frustrate, and disrupt. I am powerless to deal with you head on, so I must use guerrilla welfare. I'm not. And that is the easiest way to bring your empire down. So very, very important that you actually aim to have communication and have a culture that people can actually communicate to you as their manager, as their team lead. Like I said, you don't have to be senior or junior. These are things that happen every day because you work with other people. Can I get a volunteer to read for me the assertive communication? A volunteer?
Hi all.
Yes, Velma.
I'm Josephine Kamau. I can read for the assertive communication. Is the style in which individuals clearly state their opinion and feelings and firmly advocate for their rights and needs without violating the rights of others. These individuals value themselves, their time, and their emotional, spiritual, and physical needs. and are strong advocates for themselves while being very respectful of the rights of others.
Well, being very respectful of the rights of the others. So you can continue.
Assertive communication needs and wants clearly, appropriately, and respectfully. Express feelings clearly, appropriately, and respectful. Use I statements. Communicate respect for others. Listen well without interrupting. Control of self. Have good eye contact. Speak in calm and clear tone of voice. Have a relaxed body posture. Feel connected to others. Feel competent and in control. Not allow others to abuse or manipulate them. Stand up for their rights.
Thank you very much. And we are saying the impact of a pattern of assertive communication is that these individuals feel connected to others. They feel in control of their lives. They're able to mature because they address issues. And if my manager is not giving me work, I'm not going to sit and wait until appraisal comes and then I start saying, you can't appraise me because I've not been given work. I'll ask for a week. How do I address this? If I'm speaking to manager and it's not working, how do I address this? So you want to address things respectively. You know, you don't want to just be resentful and you can't do anything. As much as I know, sometimes we are all in that box of feeling like you are helpless. We are equally entitled to express ourselves respectively to one another. I am confident about who I am. So if I give you feedback, it's not because I'm saying you're silly. You take that feedback and take the valuable thing in it. But you are silly. I want to understand what exactly is the feedback to actually improve from what you're saying. But if for someone who is passive, even if they have not understood what you're saying, they'll still say yes. They realize I have chosen my life and I can consider my options. I speak clearly, honestly, and to the point. I can control myself. They place a high priority on having rights respected. They are responsible. They know they are responsible for getting my needs met in a respectful manner. I respect the rights of others unless they have agreed to give it to me. They are 100% responsible for their own happiness. And you're saying assertiveness allows us to take care of ourselves and is a fundamental for good health and mental health care. Let me just go to the other one because I still hope we have some time to just do something practically. Let me share this. Share screen. And you're saying, how do you give our opinion assertively? Have you been holding back for so long that people no longer ask very often for you for what you think? So you have been passive for so long until things just happen. Nobody will come and to ask you and tell you, you know what, Helen, this is happening. Irene, what is your opinion on this? Because either way, you will still go like Ebu, Lisa, Millicent, Kwanzaa. And when Millie gives her opinion, they ask you and go like, what did Millie say? I'm okay with that. In short, you're telling us you never have. And therefore, we never.
Jane, you're on mute.
Okay, perhaps you also give your opinion using a very aggressive style. Or are you the go-to? Are people okay with coming to you to ask an opinion when they want something from you? Let's see if this moves. So these are checkpoints. I would like us to do this, and I want us to go just in groups, 7 minutes or less, and just discuss. Think back over the past 3 days, and these 3 situations in which you could have offered your opinion, but perhaps you did so, or perhaps you held back. So you want to give an opinion, maybe you gave, or maybe you held back. Perhaps you expressed the opinion in such a way that others had no room to disagree. You were very aggressive, or you expressed it in a roundabout or a sarcastic fashion. We don't even know what you're saying. We feel like you're hurting me. Are you disrespecting me? No, I did that. No, I didn't say that. People can't even get what you're saying. But in short, actually, you are speaking in a very nice tone and ABCD, but in the real sense, unatupa mishale. And write down the first 3 that you think about. The past 3 days. Is there something that came to you and you didn't give an opinion? Or you gave an opinion in a way that was not very assertive or aggressive or passive aggressive? We could go to and discuss that, or you could just put it in the chat. Maybe in the interest of trying to put in the chat, if you're okay with that. Can't hear. Can you hear this? I'm seeing someone saying here they can't see a minute ago. Stephanie Michelle could not hear me. Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay, it's a minute ago. Okay, so I know you won't discuss in this, so I'm going to put in groups if that's okay. I see we are 55. Those will be too many groups. I'm not sure I want to do that. There'll be like 11 groups, but I'll do that. So we just discuss and see for sure, for sure. Are there times that we feel for sure we have been aggressive? Are there times that we feel? So just join the group that I'm signing automatically. Just join the group, choose a cheerleader, and in 5 minutes or less, we'll be back. Just discuss and see whether you have observed these aggressive behaviors, assertive behaviors, and then your take home will be how you could have been more creative, how you'd have been more assertive. So I'm creating, will just be 5. Make sure you have a group leader and someone, we want to hear from 2 groups. So when someone who can present to the rest of us, please join your group.
Mic check. Mic check. Are we waiting for someone else? Mic check.
I think we can proceed.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So who's the group leader? I was about to say Maureen.
I think you are there. We found you there. So
Okay. I will take on the mantle. So we're supposed to discuss examples of how we've been assertive and or how we've been passive. I think I was
aggressive.
how we've been aggressive.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we can go around. I'll start. Really fresh in my mind because it's something that I think I a little bit struggle with. Sometimes someone will do something to me and I'll not like tell them straight up. And like I've been, so during this myself, why I don't like, I'm not able to, you know, express myself, say how I feel. And I don't know. I always feel like at that point, I'm not ready to speak about it. Like I always feel like I am so hurt that I can't even speak about it. So I honestly, so my example was, or rather is, last week. It's really not work related. It's more of a family thing. So last week I had, it was, was my dad's birthday, and I bought for him a gift and I went to give him. And when I gave him, he made a comment that I felt like it was hurtful, it was unnecessary. And that really, really bothered me, because I'm like, you know, this is not the appropriate time to, you know, make such sentiments. At least make them when I've offended you or something, not when I'm bringing you a gift. Like, can you at least be time sensitive, you know? And all this was conversations happening in my head. I did not say anything to him. So I just left, and I just felt hurt, and I never told him. And then when I'd left home, I realized, maybe when I thought about it, I was like, maybe he didn't even know that he offended me when he said that. So it was upon me to tell him that that was offensive, which I failed at. So yeah, for me, that's the examples. And I struggle with it because sometimes I think it's just a passive aggressive issue where I always feel like, if you have wronged me, why do I have to come and tell you that you have wronged me? Like, don't you already know whatever you've done is wrong? But I know sometimes people don't know that what they've done is wrong. You have to point it out. And that is something that I struggle to accept. So that's my example. Who will go next?
Okay, I will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm loud and clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the moments that have been aggressive, sometimes I promise myself I'll not overreact. But then when the kids are so noisy and they're singing your name, it's like a choir, I find myself getting so aggressive. After I have promised myself, and I can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The unseen guest, just proceed.
Going next.
We're about to go back.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
This is Mary. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. So mine is the passive aggressive part of it. It's my birthday, and I'm supposed to remain. Okay, I was told some few minutes before the actual time when I'm supposed to leave work. I'm told, Mary, there's something I want you to help in by the manager. Well, I didn't tell him I won't do it. I just said, it's okay. Then a friend of mine, we had communicated earlier, and she told me, today's your birthday, so after work, I'm taking it somewhere. I told the manager I'll do it, but I didn't. I just left work and went. I never even went back to the story for whatever. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how bad it was.
And were you disciplined? Were you given a memo for that?
No, I wasn't.
And what happened the following day?
He didn't even revisit the issue.
That's a wise manager. Maybe you are good, so he knew that was just a one. Or maybe he knew he was aggressive to you. I mean, giving you work late in the evening, out of the blues, like it's an emergency, was very aggressive. And we have a lot of that aggressive managers actually in real life, you know. They know you have there the whole day, maybe you did not even have work. Then in the evening, when you're just about to leave, I need this by tomorrow morning, you know, and they know you have traffic to beat and all that to be. So actually, they're actually being aggressive on their end. They want to show you that they're the bosses here. And therefore, if you're managing people, don't be like that. It's actually a bad way to manage people. You know what I mean? Because then if you are assertive, you tell them that I have something urgent, I should have given you earlier, but for some reason I forgot. Are you able to do this for me tonight? Or how can you support me this? You will find yourself responding in a better way. I can carry the work, or I can come tomorrow very morning because I had a plan to do ABCD. Because like they say in Kenya, saa ingine ni venye umekuja, si ndio? Yeah, so it's very, very important that you actually always at any one time when you're approaching people, even your own house girl in the house. Even when Maureen says that with Kishi can get a bit aggressive, after that, what do you feel?
I feel very bad because I keep promising myself.
That
And
you know
sometimes I even
again.
receive the lectures from the little ones. But Mom, I didn't like the way you
Spoke to
told
me.
me this and that.
Boy,
Sometimes
okay.
I feel bad about it.
Let us all move to being assertive, being able to just speak. There are times that, of course, you have to beat, but even when you're beating, you can actually be assertive in the same press. Eh? So I'm about to go back to the main room, but you guys can finish before we break it. Eh?
Anyone else can go, would like to share? Don't you, like, I have a thought in my mind. I always feel like sometimes I feel like it's a cultural thing. I don't know if it's Kenyan or African or what, like when you call people and ask them for things or request them to do things, they will never say no. Like they will always be like, oh yes, I will. But eventually they never do it. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. And for me, like that really, it bothers me. I don't know if you've like ever had that conversation with someone and you ask them for something and you're like, are you able to do this? And they say like, yes, I will. And they know very well they don't have the capacity, they don't have the time, the bandwidth, and they just say yes just because like people feel like they will never say no to you, or I don't know what they think will happen if they say no. And then they end up not doing it and you're already banked on them. Like, what do you guys feel about that?
Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they're afraid, or because of the relationship you have with them.
I don't think so.
Lack of
Or
confidence.
they're passive aggressive. They're passive aggressive.
Sometimes I feel like there's too much of not wanting to disappoint someone that you end up even disappointing them more by not saying no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 more to go. How many of us went to the rooms and this year word? How many of us wanted to say something and couldn't say? How many of us did not just step out to be the leader in the team? How many of us did not become the leader, but were able to coordinate the rest of you? Like who will be chair, who will do ABCD? We're waiting for 4 people. It could be one group that has not come out, come back. Then we proceed. It came, I guess 4 people are not here, though that's okay, we'll just proceed. So I hope you enjoyed that and you're able to discuss times that you have been very aggressive and how you felt about it, times that you have been very, 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 what is it called? Aggressive, times you have been assertive, and more so how we can all move to being what is it called? Assertive. So to be assertive is to participate in the events of your own life and the lives of others. So don't just sit there like happy life is just happening to you. Things are wrong, and I'm not saying, like when you say, if I tell you I need this urgently, and you know I've been given you from 4 or 5 things, or you're reporting to 2 managers, and you don't voice and say, I've been given work by strangers and it's also urgent. And you are there now fighting, who do I do work for? What do I do? You're not being assertive. So at any one time, even if it means you go, then you go back and speak to the person after you have thought through. Don't go through issues in a way that is passive or aggressive. Just say no to that. Go sit down and see, how can I talk about this? Talk to whoever that you have talked about, have a way of being able to have your issues addressed. Be okay and the other person be okay. You can always agree on a mutual thing. So part of being there, willing to reveal your attitude, preferences, ideas, and opinions. And when you avoid assertiveness, is avoiding living your own life, because now it's like you're pushing you from one end to the other. And I'll just like us not to start the confidence grooves. I won't talk about how to build your confidence, but the confidence grooves, things that you make wrong, confidence mistakes, things that make people know that you have a low self-esteem, or you're not, or make you feel like you're not enough. And one of them is not speaking in meetings. And I'm happy because we are women, and we are told that even the most talkative women, Sometimes when they walk to a room that has men, they keep quiet. I don't know how true that is. But apparently research has been done that even the women that are in charge of a chama, like, you know, you have a chama and you have a cheerleader who is always talking in the meeting. The moment men come in, and that's our offices, because in the office we are mixed up, then we tend to keep quiet. And they talk and talk and talk. And when the promotions come, it's about the brand that people see. Sometimes we even write on papers and we pass for another person to say what you're thinking. So what would make you not speak in a meeting? In my own experience, because it's a place that I have been, that I had to outgrow and start speaking in meetings like a must, mandatory. If I'm going in a meeting, I can't come up kama mtu hajaniona. So I deliberately create my own visibility. The first thing is ensure you do not walk to a meeting without an agenda. If we invite you, please say, can I have the agenda? I can't come if I don't know the agenda. Let them know that. You need to know what you're going to speak so you can prepare adequately. There must be something you can actually, plug in and say. But when you come like an audience, and all the meetings that happen, you are an audience. The much you can do is steady to pray for the meeting, send you for water, or send you to run errands, because now we don't know what else to do with you, because you're not adding value in that particular meeting. Even when you have something to say, then you start saying, imagine nilikuwa nimefikiria hivyo, but I didn't want to say that because ABCD. So speaking up in meetings is not kimbelembele. You just have to be sure that you are ready for that particular meeting, and if whatever you are saying makes sense. And it's okay to also make a mistake. If you have nothing to say, if you're just keen in and you're following up the meetings, following up to understand, and even just say, I like how you're presented, well done, especially on this particular point, or can you just expound on ABCD? And I know you see some people behaving like that in the office. It is part of them being assertive. It's part of them being noticed by other people. You cannot light a lamp. You cannot just be very good in now doing the reconciliations and the reports and ABCD. But when it comes to people noticing you, people who don't work with you every day, then you keep hiding. It doesn't work. You don't volunteer in strategic committees because you fear that if I go for this particular committee, I'm going to find this particular boss, I'll find the chairman of the board. You see them in the corners, you take a cut. If you are assertive and you care about your brand and you're confident, that is the time that you walk and just say, hi, chairman, how are you doing? Not because you want anything, but you understand a brand must be confident enough. People must know you. When we are discussing who are we going to promote, and people say Jane Wambui, and they're like, which Jane Wambui? I don't know any Jane. You cannot afford to just have only your manager knowing you, because then that means you don't have confidence to actually be able to. When you go for a meeting, it's like you want to ask the people that you're always with in your department to book for you a seat in the boardroom. You want to sit behind the door. What are you fearing? And what good does that do you? So every time in the office, every time I see people sitting behind the doors, they want to be the first to leave. They don't say a thing, they want to, you ask them, can you even pray? Or can someone say anything else? They are quiet. That's when they're looking down. It speaks about your confidence. And I would be saying in that case, we cannot send her for meetings. If she cannot face our own staff members, how can you send her to go and represent you? You understand? So it's very, very important. Yes, even if it means you join a public speaking club, you cannot afford to be keeping quiet if going up is anything that you're interested in. As you go up, your work is just actually going for meetings, talking, and being out there because you're confident about how you are. Sometimes we also don't speak in meetings because there are some things about us, I call them dogs that are chasing us, things that you're scared about. It could be maybe how you speak, but every time you feel like your accent is, they still don't know English. The Italians, they still don't know English. So your mother tongue interference should never stop you from talking in a meeting. Speak, because if you're speaking content, we will still pick it up from that and be able to go with you through the whole process. But going for meetings and not talking, including where you sit. Always sit in the table. If you're sitting in the table and you know where the chairman sits, sit next there. There's a way to do it when people sit next to power. People know you're confident. And contribute. Most important, contribute. Don't be just sitting there. You could be the only woman, because I know sometimes there are very few in meetings that are senior level. You could be the only woman in that particular meeting and you have not said anything. Then why did we have to bother to bring you there? Why are you presenting us as a whole gender if you're going to be in that meeting and saying nothing? Really? Just the smiles and the makeup and the good hair and nothing else? No. So as a minimum, always purpose. It's part of your confidence. When people feel how you're speaking and they see how you're articulating your thoughts and you have that capacity, then trust you me, by the time they're calling you to come to that meeting, they knew you had something to come and deliver. Even as a participant, don't let them down. So that part of some of the confidence goals that I've seen. Another one is not accepting compliments and positive feedback. You come for the meeting, you do your presentation, it doesn't matter how you're feeling, and then go, you know what, Tanyawira, that was so good. Then what do you say? Really? Huwa nakuanga tu hivyo. Napenda kunichocha sana. What is so hard about saying, yeah, I really gave it my all? Or I did my research very well. This one I knew to just pass because it's a topic that I really love and I gave it my all. I just tell you something just like, you're looking nice. And you go like, nice kachata si yangu. So what is so bad? What is so hard about just accepting compliments and people give you compliments because you have worked hard for them? So you must learn to accept compliments because we come from a culture whereby we are told when you turn down a compliment, it's like you're being modest. And when you say, no, I gave it my all, it's like you're being proud. It's okay to be proud because yes, there's a reason I'm giving you that feedback and telling you did well. And I would wonder why you're not believing yourself. So every time you do this, just know it eats on your self-confidence. The rest of us will be there wondering, So a compliment is a gift to be accepted. It is not a bomb to be refused. It is not affordable needing to be returned. So that next time that you get to do a project and do that, I like that how that project has gone. Don't start returning it to your boss and telling him it's because of your support. Just say, for me, that project, I had to just do it well. Thank you very much for your support. But don't start saying like you're giving back the return or arguing with that compliment. If they're saying you did well, take it and run with it. You're looking nice. I'm feeling exactly that way. You don't have to argue with something that is positive that people are giving you. Another thing is signaling lack of confidence. It's a goof in confidence. And people, when you lose confidence in yourself, the rest of us don't have a reason to believe. So something like, anytime you want to give an opinion, you go like, I could be completely wrong about this. And you can tell me if I am, but I have a sort of been thinking about ABCD and ABCD. That time, the idea you are giving us is so brilliant, but we are so used to apologizing anytime, signaling that, guess what? I am never sure about myself. I am never sure about my judgment. I see this even in text when people are writing. I stand to be corrected. I could be wrong, but why are you doing that? Just think through and tell us what you have to say. If you need more time to think, tell us, give me 2 days, give me up to tomorrow morning and I'll respond to you. But let us know that you're able to think and give an opinion. If you have an opinion, say it. I strongly feel that this particular matter, we should be adjourned. We meet tomorrow morning and discuss further. I strongly feel we should not take this particular option. But there's no point you sitting there and saying I could be wrong or not just saying anything. People stop coming to you to ask anything. And don't undermine your own opinion out of the fear that others may disagree. So anytime you do this, just know you're telling us you're not sure. And sometimes you're the person that is in charge of that particular project that you're saying you're not sure. So it makes people now doubt you. And then we have something else that it's people confidence, and this is the imposter syndrome. I don't know how many of us know about the imposter syndrome. And the imposter syndrome is the feeling of feeling inadequate. You look at Tori and you think Tori is better than you. You look at Stephanie and you feel Stephanie is better than you. You look at Jane and you think, oh my God, can I ever do what Jane does? And you keep feeling inadequate. At the same time, you have done very many things in life. Very many things in life that show you can. But you're so stuck in feeling like you cannot. And all you do is actually do that negative talk. Unfortunately, they say this imposter syndrome affects very many people in the world. But unfortunately, 70% of that are also women. It is part of why we never volunteer for things. It is part of why we never want to share our experiences. Because you're not sharing out to be vulnerable, but you share in a way that you can actually show that this is what I plan to do, ABCD, you guys, I can have your input. Could be wrong. Just say I can have a different opinion and be able to trust yourself to just be able to understand. I'll just like us to watch a very short video on imposter syndrome, 5 minutes, because again, it affects the best of the people. You find someone who is very intelligent, and there was an example of Obama where I was giving about how at any one time, because of being Black, being a woman, and people made her feel like she didn't belong wherever she was. But she'd always prove that wrong. But the feeling never left her. So at any one time, and there are ways that you can do to cater for this. So I'm just going to share that video shortly. And then hopefully we still finish on time. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. Share sound. And then I do a new share. There we are. There we are. There we are.
Even after writing 11 books and winning several prestigious awards, Maya Angelou couldn't escape the nagging doubt that she hadn't really earned her accomplishments. Albert Einstein experienced something similar. He described himself as an involuntary swindler whose work didn't deserve as much attention as it had received. Accomplishments at the level of Angelou's or Einstein's are rare, but their feeling of fraudulence is extremely common. Why can't so many of us shake feelings that our ideas and skills aren't worthy of others' attention? Psychologist Pauline Rose Clance was the first to study this unwarranted sense of insecurity. In her work as a therapist, she noticed many of her undergraduate patients shared a concern. They didn't believe they deserved their spots at the university. Some even believed their acceptance had been an admissions error. While Clance knew these fears were unfounded, the exact same way in graduate school. She and her patients experienced something that goes by a number of names: imposter phenomenon, imposter experience, and imposter syndrome. Together with colleague Suzanne Imes, Clance first studied imposterism in female college students and faculty. Their work established pervasive feelings of fraudulence in this group. Since that first study, the same thing has been established across gender, race, age, and a huge range of occupations, though it may be more prevalent and disproportionately affect the experiences of underrepresented or disadvantaged groups. To call it a syndrome is to downplay how universal it is. It's not a disease or an abnormality, and it isn't necessarily tied to depression, anxiety, or self-esteem. Where do these feelings of fraudulence come from? People who are highly skilled or accomplished tend to think others are just as skilled. This can spiral into feelings and opportunities over other people. Experienced, there's often no threshold of accomplishment that puts these feelings to rest. Feelings of imposterism aren't restricted to highly skilled individuals either. Everyone is susceptible to pluralistic ignorance, where we each doubt ourselves privately, but believe we're alone in thinking that because no one else voices their doubts. We have to really know how hard our peers work, how difficult they find certain tasks, or how much they doubt themselves. There's no easy way to dismiss feelings that we're less capable than the people around us. Intense feelings of imposterism can prevent people from sharing their great ideas or applying for jobs and programs where they'd excel. At least so far, the most surefire way to combat imposter syndrome is to talk about it. Many people suffering from imposter syndrome are afraid that if they ask about their performance, their fears will be confirmed. And even when they receive positive feedback, it often fails to ease feelings of fraudulence. But on the other hand, hearing that an advisor or mentor has experienced feelings of imposterism can help relieve those feelings. The same goes for peers. Even simply finding out there's a term for these feelings can be an incredible relief. Once you're aware of the phenomenon, you can combat your own imposter syndrome by collecting and revisiting positive feedback. One scientist who kept blaming herself for problems in her lab started to document the causes every time. Eventually, she realized most of the problems came from equipment failure and came to recognize her own competence. We may never be able to banish these feelings entirely with open conversations about academic or professional challenges. With increasing awareness of perhaps we can feel freer to be frank about our feelings and build confidence in some simple truths. You have talent, you are capable, and you belong. Everyone can use a little extra kick of confidence sometimes. Find out some tips and tricks for boosting
Okay. I hope you have picked a few things that make us feel like we are not there. But the same class that you went with the guys that you're looking at, you got a CPK, you got your bachelor's, you got whatever that you got, you have done big things in life, but you're not focusing on how you've succeeded on that on your own with the same level of effort that the guys you think are better than you also put. So never feel less, because the moment you start feeling less and less and less of yourself, feeling like you don't belong there, feeling like you do not know, then for sure that will be manifested. You will not talk. You will not be assertive. People will look on you. You'll miss opportunities. You'll fail to apply for jobs that you actually qualify for. You'll turn down promotions because you are fearing, what if I go and then nikose kufanya hiyo kazi? And I'm just wondering, what is so hard about just saying, what is the job about? Can I just check it through and be able to prepare for that particular opportunity? So being assertive, being confident is knowing that there's nothing new actually in the world. There are some new things like technology, but by the time it gets to you, someone else has done it. So having that idea of at any one time I can excel in this, I just need to put some effort, understand it, opens your confidence. And one more important thing that I'm going to say about confidence, how we look as women is very important, actually as people, not as women. If your hair is going to be shaggy, it's almost impossible. If you're not feeling good on how you're dressed and ABCD, you're not going to be as confident. When people are talking, so always crown your hair. Whatever that it is that you have. If you have short hair, look good. If you have, braids, don't walk around with things that are just looking like they should have gone out of your hair like a month ago. So just how we look, first impression, that will never change. So how we are invest in how you look, because it's so important. People judge you even before they see you. And if you're not feeling good about how you're looking, and I know all of us have experienced this, when you're feeling good about how you're looking, from your hair to your nails to whatever else, then you actually feel good showing up and expressing and doing those things. So it is those small things that actually affect how we feel. And it is important that we take care of them and take them seriously. And I'm just going to go back again into assertive. I know we are now 3 minutes past time, but allow me to say this in terms of assertiveness, how we can practice assertiveness in the office. One of them was in meetings. Another time is actually during your appraisals. Don't go to just receive. Go and use your assertive skills to get yourself a promotion, a pay rise or something. By doing what? By being able to document what you have achieved. My reports the whole year I've never delayed. My ABCD have not had errors. My ABCD has ABCD and ABCD. I worked with so and so in this and this in particular project. I have been this and this and this and this. But when you go for a meeting, because maybe your boss is aggressive and you're just going to receive on the receiving end, and whatever he says, even if it is wrong, you don't even say in assertive way, but I think you have forgotten. Do you remember this time when I supported with this and this and this and this? You're able to still speak about what you feel you did and should be recognized if nobody is talking about it. So appraisal time, meetings, and in just day-to-day interactions. Don't be brushed off just because you're not able to speak. And I'm not saying we speak, okay, as we speak, just know aggressive is the most default. When people speak, most people speak, sometimes they fight. So be aware of all the areas that we can be in terms of communication, that we have a journey of going to assertiveness. And every time you think you are too aggressive, ask yourself, what could I have done differently? And you could even do journaling for a whole week to just see you moving from maybe being someone who is very passive, someone who never spoke, someone who never does ABCD, and you start voicing out and people will be saying, and let them be okay with it as you move to not being someone who talks. If you're aggressive, start turning down, speak to people respectfully, and they'll start saying you may change, and with the time, they forget who we are. Every time they say women have moods, women have ABCD, is because sometimes you just get aggressive, and aggressiveness includes keeping quiet on people. You're supposed to be dealing with something, then you give us silent treatment for a week. That is being aggressive because you're not helping anyone. Because in short, you're telling us if you don't agree to what you're saying, you're not going to. So that behavior of keeping quiet, because again, like I said, I've seen these things in the office, is for someone who is actually aggressive or passive aggressive. But most of the times it is actually aggressive. So that brings me to the end of today's session. And my call to action is for the next 1 week, catch yourself being assertive, catch yourself being passive, catch yourself being aggressive, catch yourself as we move to being assertive, and let's just purpose to be deliberate about being more passive. Trust you me, we don't do these things to put ourselves in boxes. We do it for us to improve to the next level. And like they say, nowadays we have had very many webinars and we have two options. of hearing and actually implementing what we have had, or just becoming webinar junkies where we come, we hear, and we forget anything. So if you have been here for that 1 hour, just have one takeaway, one thing that you can actually implement for yourself, because there's no point having knowledge that you cannot implement. Back to you, Wandia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jane. That was very, very powerful. And I think we can all see what the comments trickling in from the really, really good learnings that we are getting today. So one question I can see from Maureen is, could temperaments greatly affect how we behave?
If temperaments means personality, remember, even those temperaments are not meant to put us in boxes. I hear people saying, I am a choleric, I am a sanguine, I am a peacock, whatever that you are. But those things are meant to create awareness in you, so that you're able to look at what are your strengths and which areas can you improve. Then you are able to continuously improve. Otherwise, if you have to put you in a box and call you choleric for life, and then you keep becoming very dominant, then you're not improving. So if you know about temperament, it means already you have a lot of self-awareness. And most people will be aggressive, actually the correct, who people say make very good managers, but very bad leaders. They make very good managers because they're able to control, they are dominant, they are all that, and they get things done through command. But how many people want to be commanded? How many people want to be commanded in the work? Even your own kids. How many people want to be commanded? Very few people. And if they do, it's because they are passive. Otherwise, they will even stop visiting you in your office, in your house, wherever that it is. So why we do temperaments is for the purpose of us knowing awareness, where we can improve, where we can leverage, and where we can grow. So at any one time, it's okay to have that temperament, but work on it. Don't make it like you can't do anything about it. These are behaviors that we can change.
Wow, thank you. Very powerful, very powerful. I'll just give the next 30 seconds in case there's someone who wants to just unmute their mic and ask a question. Meanwhile, I can see lots of good comments coming in. People thanking you for the great session. Some asking to join Toastmaster, and I'm sure, speaking on behalf of everyone, we'd love to listen to hear. I'm assuming there is no other question from any of the people in the group. Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you for taking time to do this. I mean, it was powerful. We've all learned not one, not two, but about 5 things from this conversation that we've had, and we really appreciate. If you're able to invite us to some of these talks that you give, of course, we'd want to come in. There you are, actually. Maybe you can talk a bit more about that. Yes.
So we actually have a master class on assertiveness and self-confidence, because even how we give feedback, there are people, when you give feedback, it's just terrible. So it's a 6 weeks program, and talk about just understanding assertiveness in a very practical way. What we did today was just scratching the surface. How we become assertive by verbal and non-verbal behavior. Like, I'll give an example of verbal and non-verbal behavior. I give you a gift, and you go like, oh, thank you. And then you don't even open up. You don't even open the gift, even though you have all the time to open it. What does that tell you? I'm actually being passive-aggressive. So we go deep and then discuss even the behaviors that we have, on non-verbal behaviors that you can actually display. We talk about, especially where we spend giving and receiving feedback. How do you behave when people give you feedback, and even when you're giving? And as we actually go up, because when you're going now up, this becomes your constant work as a manager. And then assertive no. How do you say no without being disrespectful? How do you say no in a way that actually people know that you are respectful, and that no will just to be a no? And then building confidence, we learn how to not to be controlling, that you understand you can only control yourself, and how to reduce confrontation. It's a 6 weeks program. We normally have it just once in a week for 2 hours in a week. And if you're interested, get in touch. It's a paid program, but very affordable. We allow installments, and we'll be happy to work with you. It's one of those skills that actually just wonders to you if you choose to invest in being assertive and in building your confidence. You have no idea, lack of these two, how many opportunities that can actually deny you. Back to you, Andrea.
Thank you. I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot from us. Probably you can share the flyer with us, and we can share with the larger group, just to ensure that everyone is welcome for this. But thank you very much. this has been a great learning take home for us women, because we tend to be more passive or passive aggressive. That's what comes naturally to us. So it's a challenge to all of us to learn how to be assertive as opposed to aggressive, because most of the time when we're trying to become assertive, we go all the way to the other side of being aggressive. And we'll be thinking about this for a long time. Thank you so much, Jean. And we really appreciate this moment that you've taken to just take a few tidbits of knowledge on this. And well, for the team, probably maybe I could pass it on to Faith to just give us a bit of a preamble on what is this forum. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Faith Mungai. I currently head in the FPKE Leadership Forum for Leaders. Thank you, Jen, for this session. It's quite enlightening. I never saw it come through that way, but I think you've brought it in a very, very bright and wholesomeness that you have learned. I think, just as we said, we should work on implementing and moving to an assertive communicator, shunning away from imposter syndromes, shunning away from being a passive communicator, and shunning away from everything else. So on this juncture, I thank everyone for being with us. We don't take it for granted. I know many of us have had maybe you had classes, maybe you had a family to take care of, but you've really taken that opportunity to just listen in. I don't take it for granted. So thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Jane.